Trails. Now, I want to remind you that Uncle Ernie still has plenty of these Twisty Creek storybooks for you. These books that tell about all the high adventures that we had on Twisty Creek. And well, in fact, I just had 3,000 more printed just for you. So send your name and address to Uncle Ernie in care of this station, and I'll send you those, that, and also 12 of Uncle Ernie's super duper bookmarks. Right to this station, care of Uncle Ernie, or care of this. Right to Uncle Ernie in care of the station, and I'll send you both free and postpaid, no strings attached. Now let's get along with today's story. Now today we're headed for New York State. And on the way, now I'm taking my wife Katie's picture there right now, and she doesn't know it. Watch when she realizes I'm taking her picture, and she turns. Turn head. Oh, she grins. And we're going to stop at Niagara Falls first, and just before we get there, we stop and look at this long, I think that's probably a sluiceway or something that has to do with our hydroelectric plant. But there's a picture of the Niagara Falls way up above. And I thought that's a real beautiful picture. And then as we get down there and get out, look at the thing we got on top of our little car. Now, we got a whole bedroom suite between what's on top there and inside in that car. We're taking our son and daughter, who are going to school in New York State, North Carolina, New York. We stopped to see the falls on the way. We always stop here to look at the falls. Now, isn't that pretty? Boy, they are really something. This is on the Canadian side. There's some helicopter taking some people over to view on that. I never went on one of them, nor did I ever climb that tower and get up in there. But we get out here where we can get a good look at them, and with my telephoto lens, we can get right up on the edge of it, just like we was out there in a boat. Just imagine now that you was out there in a boat just about ready to go over the edge. There's the Canadian flag, and the copter going over. Now, a boy did go over there. Look at there. Suppose you was right there. Now you're on a. Suppose you're right in a boat there now. The sliding right under you. Now I wasted some film on. Took most of my film on this picture, and a guy went down there. A rock hound went down there to get. See, he's going down right at the edge of the falls to get a rock. And I got his picture that far, but oh, the most joyous expression he had on his face when he came back. And my camera was out of film, and I tried to get it, but it didn't get because he was out. Now we go on, and this is the new hydro plant that's being built. And while they look at that, let's take another message break, shall we? This is another Uncle Ernie happiness ad. And one of the fun things that God has made for us, that Bingo and I are looking at, is a woodchuck out there in the road. I think he's getting some chloride out of the road. And he liked the salt. And Bingo and I sat and watch him. Then another place we stopped to see an egg factory. This is an egg factory, and I think they said about 10,000 chickens in there, 10,000 egg factories. Each chicken is an egg factory. And the feed goes in one end, and out the other end comes the egg. And those roosters on top keep the cobwebs. They go back and forth, keep the cobwebs off. Now, another place, I stopped to check a tire or something, and these cows were out there, and I mooed at them. I didn't call them. I didn't say, cow, cow, come here. But I just went, woo, woo. And they came running to see their Uncle Ernie super cow. Now, when we get to New York, my daughter's working in a plastic factory there, little plastics factory, and I sneak in with the permission, of course, and up to her machine and get her picture, and she doesn't even know we're in the States. She thinks we're still back in Michigan. Now, right now, she thinks we're still back in Michigan. And watch her expression when I holler at her, and she looks up and sees her dad there taking her picture. How about that? That was a funny thing. And then she continues her work, of course. What she's making is pill boxes. So, making pill boxes with that big machine there. And makes a whole batch of them all at once. Every time it plunges in, it makes a whole batch of pill boxes. She packs them in the box. And they get some of them scrapped, tangled together. She can't keep them packed far enough. Now there's another guy, another machine is making a toy, and there's a toy that he's making. How about that? And these are some freezer boxes they're making on another machine. Then looking through Linda's machine again, you see her face in there and those pill boxes dropping out. And then she and her husband come out and to see what we brought them. That bedroom suit between the top of the car and in the back trunk there, or the back seat. We got a whole bedroom suit, believe it or not. Now we go for a ride out in the country. They're going to show us some of the scenery. And there's a deer. We found a deer that was with a herd of cows out in the pasture. Excuse me. And I tried to sneak up to him and thinking it was a wild deer, and that I was so surprised when the deer came right towards me and stuck his nose right in the camera instead of running away. But he sure is cute. Somebody's tamed deer out with a herd of cows. I thought it was a wild one. Tried to sneak up on him, and away he comes, right up to me. Glad to see me. Now we gone to the trout farm, throw some popcorn into the trout. And there they are. If you had a fish hook in there, you'd really get a bite in a hurry. They really go after those popcorn. We bought the popcorn there. They sell the popcorn for visitors to feed to them, and they just make the water boil and you throw it in there. Nice big ones. Then we go and look at this beautiful valley. This is the Genesee Valley. And oh, it goes for miles and miles and miles and miles. And we take that view, and then before we have our picnic, right on the edge of that, and take another look before we go on. Back the car and go on. Now this valley and that, it's a state park that goes for, I don't really remember, it seems like it's 50 to 70 to maybe 80, 90 miles long. All along here, it's a state park that just scenic, that they've preserved and saved. And it sure is beautiful. Look at that beautiful scene out across the woods. A lot of deer out there, I presume. Now here's where they have campers, picnickers and campers, and then places to climb around and see everything. And look at, now that river, it's not a very big river. Maybe it gets big in flood season, but it's not a very big river. But it's worn down through that rock, throughout the centuries, made those, made that groove, that big bed right down through that rock. Sure is a pretty thing. And there the sun was shining on that place and the water, and I thought that just like that, just the way it looked. Looked so pretty. Look how that rock is chewed away. Certainly marvelous. But and there's a look at, how'd you like to go across on a train on that trestle up there? Now later I do get a picture of a train. I had waited and waited to get a picture of the train going over there, and I got one. There goes the helicopter in the sun. And here's some guys across the river that caught some fish. They hold them up for me, and I use my telephoto lens on them. There's our trestle again. Excuse me. Clarence and I are going to climb up there pretty soon and look down from that trestle and get a view from up above. Right now we're just, there he is. And I'm telling you, that's way, way up. And it sure is long ways down there. And you notice that Clarence standing there, even hanging on that rail. There's a railroad track way down there. See, he's hanging like he's afraid to let loose of that rail. And we got down just in time to get my train going across. Just in time, I got down to get the train going across there, and the train's going slow. I don't blame him either. Big freight train. If they went fast, they'd maybe shake that and tip it over.